The 2020 Ford Explorer is redesigned from the ground up. It's got a new platform, it's got some new features, it's super luxurious as well. We have the Platinum trim, but I'm going to tell you about all the different trim levels, give you a full detailed review and test drive. I'm going to look at the exterior, the interior, the cargo space. Let's get started. Thank you everyone so much for tuning in for this 2020 Ford Explorer review. Now I'm going to give you a detailed look at the exterior first. Now for the trim levels, you'll have the base Explorer, which is only for fleet, and I'm going to cover the rest of them because that base one is not available for us as consumers. So starting out, you'll have the XLT, the Limited, the ST, and then this Platinum, which is what we have right here, and I'm going to try to cover all the different trim levels with what features they have and all of that. So starting right away up front, the grills are going to differ a little bit, and as you can see, our Platinum, we have the satin aluminum grill, which is really big, bold and luxurious looking. You'll get a black mesh grille on the XLT and bright silver on the Limited, so they'll kind of differ from each other a little bit. The front end is definitely a little more modern compared to the old Explorer, but it still looks very similar to the Explorer that you've come to know. We all get LED daytime running lights. It's a pretty high setting daytime running light as well, right above the headlight. It looks pretty nice, especially at night. It sits up pretty high, so it gives this vehicle a little bit more of a muscular look. And as you can see, we have the LED turn signal there. We have LED high and low beams on every trim, but this Platinum model gives you special projector adaptive LED lights. So if you want to see what those look like, be sure to check out my night video where I go into detail about how well these lights do and go on a night drive to see what it's like to drive with them. You also get LED fog lights down here, which are optional all the way down on the XLT, which is always good to see. Kind of a unique design how they're running horizontal, just like the upper headlights. And then there's even more detail here. Check it out. It even says Explorer right there on that headlight. Another little detail up front is that little silver piece on the bottom. You'll get that on the upper trims, and same with the back. Now this color is called Iconic Silver, and it looks just like any other silver, but it looks good on this Explorer. It looks good at night as well. It's just a really sleek color, fits this Explorer pretty well. All the Explorers are going to vary with their wheels. So on the XLT base, you'll start with 18-inch wheels, but we have these optional 21-inch wheels. They're really massive. I'll kind of talk about how that affects the ride in a little bit. These are 275/45 series tires, and those are premium wheels. Typically, this and the Limited are going to come with 20-inch wheels. One really nice thing about the Explorer, it's kind of a higher end feature, is that every model is going to get power folding mirrors. We also get these LED turn signals, which is nice. We kind of have that glossy black cap on them. On our model, we have the driver's side automatic dimming for the Platinum. We have the blind spot indicator in them as well, so that's always good to see. Nice function with the mirrors. The side of the Explorer body is going to vary a little bit with different trims, but with our model, we have the satin aluminum accent pieces on the door handles and the lower part of the Explorer, and it even says Explorer down there. So it gives a little bit more of a luxurious feel as opposed to the other trims. Dimensionally, this 2020 Ford Explorer is 199 inches long. It is a little on the longer side for this class, and it is bigger than like some of the new ones like the Kia Telluride and Hyundai Palisade, quite a bit bigger than the Toyota Highlander. Now moving around to the back of the Explorer, you have the same pillar design in the back. This rear end still looks very similar to the outgoing model, but it seems to look a little bit sleeker in my opinion. Every model is going to get LED taillights. The LED portion is that red portion. It's kind of that bar, similar design to the last model. You can see the incandescent turn signal, incandescent reverse light as well. Got that nice little trim for the Explorer on the back. Platinum, EcoBoost 4-wheel drive badge, and we even have the towing package. Plus, you can see on the bottom, we get a quad tip exhaust. So that definitely makes a statement for this high-end Explorer. On the Limited trim and up with this 2020 Explorer, you have a hands-free foot-activated liftgate. You can also open it with your key fob or from the inside or by pushing a button up under here. But behind the third row in here, you'll get 18.2 cubic feet. Fold that third row down, you'll get almost 48 cubic feet. And then with everything folded, you can get up to just about 88 cubic feet. And there's even a mini spare tire back here as well. Now to give you a closer look at the cargo area, so behind the third row, we have a little bit of space. It's really not too bad. You can put carry-on suitcase here. My junk fits just fine. You can get a cargo net like this that will attach to a hook up there. I have it down. There's also a hook right there if you want to move it forward. Now if you lift this up out of the way, you have a pretty nice space down here where you can shove some stuff, which is pretty nice. And you can even put this back like this so the carpet is down and you have a hard surface for dirty stuff or anything that might scratch your flooring. And then each side gets a nice little cargo area like that too. You also get a tie down on each side. You've got a 12-volt power outlet, a nice cargo light, and then power functions for your third row on the limited trim and up. And as you can see, you can do one seat or both seats. And the nice thing is you just have to press it one time and then it will go. It's not super fast, not super slow. But then when you get that down, you've really got a lot of potential space right here, which is great. There's even another tie down over there by the third row passengers and the little storage cubbies that each third row passenger gets as well. None of the trims get power folding second row seats, but I'll show you how to get into the third row and how easy it is in a second. You can fold down the headrest if you need to. Most time you won't need to, but then you just pull this handle and the seat will fall flat just like that. And you can still slide the seat forward so you have a little bit more space back there too. But then you get a nice flat load floor overall when you get both of them down. Pretty darn good storage space and everything is really flat. Another interesting feature is that there's 4 feet between the wheel wells. So if you have some 4x8 sheets that you want to fit back here, or 4 foot wide plywood, whatever, you can fit it back here. Now, standard on the Explorer is going to be their intelligent access with push button start. Same typical key fob you've seen from Ford for a while. We even get remote start on here as well. And on our trim, you can even open up the windows and the moonroof with your key fob. So the way Ford's works is there's this little lock symbol on here that will lock the door. And then there's a sensor behind the door and you're good to go. And once you open that up, you get illuminated scuff plates and some approach lighting under the mirror as well, which is always nice. And as many of you have become accustomed with, we have the touchpad on the door as well. The Explorer has an excellent ride height, so it's really easy for most people to get in and out. There's no grab handles up front though. So on the low end, the XLT Explorer is going to start off with cloth seats that are 10-way power adjustable, but you can option up for heated and synthetic seats. The Limited and the ST are going to give you actual leather seats. And then our Platinum model that we have right here has these tri-diamond perforated leather seats with accent stitching. They're 10-way power adjustable and they're heated and ventilated with 4-way lumbar support and 3-position memory settings. In addition to that, we have the multi-contour seats with our premium tech package. What that means is that you can get a massage on your bum, you can get it on your back, you can get it on both, and you've got different settings that you can do and customize that using the screen in front of you, and all you gotta do is push the button in between your lumbar controls to make it work or turn it off, and it's really nice to have. So when you see multi-contour, it just means massaging seats. And on the Limited trim and up, you'll get a power tilt and telescoping steering wheel, and we have this entry exit system that can be turned on or off, another way to make it easy to get in and out. We have the leather wrapped heated steering wheel, which is also really nice. You can get heated even on the low XLT trim. The one difference though for this 2020 model compared to before is we don't have power adjustable pedals. But I don't think people are going to have a lot of trouble in here because you can move the seat up and down quite a bit with the seat fairly low. I've still got a lot of headroom. I'm not tall, I'm 5'9", but people pretty tall should be able to fit in here okay. And these seats are really comfortable. I really don't have any complaints at all. The bolstering is about right. The leather is really soft. The thigh cushion support is just long enough, although that's one thing we don't have is extendable thigh cushion. And one feature, if you get into an Explorer and you notice your headrest is cramming your head forward, it's because they can ratchet like that. So it's really nice to have the ability to move it back and forward to meet your needs. So overall, these front seats are really nice. One thing I would like to see at this price point is a thigh extension cushion, but otherwise, these are really nice. The interior of the 2020 Ford Explorer is certainly fancier looking, but still very much like traditional Ford has been. Our trim has the genuine ash swirl wood trim and door trim, leather on the instrument panel, console lid, and the doors, and it's just a nice place to be. It's still very functional. Now taking a look over at the door, we have nice soft material on this upper part if you like to rest your elbow there. Soft right here, some stitching along, a good size armrest that is also still really soft. It's kind of an open through grab handle, all one-touch automatic windows here. Everything's illuminated well at night too, and you've got memory settings right there. The storage in the door is also really good. My bottle fits in here, which always makes me happy. Just to the inside, you can open your cargo area, turn on your fog lights, and change your lighting settings here. And then your interior lighting, you can dim or increase that. Now we'll go ahead and shut the door. It's a pretty nice solid door slam. No complaints with that. Then a couple things you'll notice right off the bat is the leather trim that runs across this whole area and up into the center console. That trim, the wood look trim going across. But one of the biggest things that stands out is, look right here on both sides. You've got a panel gap that's a pretty good size here and over there. It just makes me a little worried that is so obvious. If there's anything else in this interior that could be missed, that could be a problem. Another thing that I've noticed is that with the screen, it doesn't matter if it's on or off, but it has a little bit of play to it on this side. So just, I'm worried about the fit and finish of the interior here, but otherwise I like it. Push button start is right there. Go ahead and turn it on with the entry exit system. So right in front of us, we have the 12.3 inch digital cluster, which is going to be standard on the ST and this Platinum trim. Otherwise, the XLT and the Limited will get a 6.5 inch display. So with ours, there's a couple different ways you can lay this out. You can see you've got the tachometer there on the left, digital speedometer right there on the left as well. The middle is where we have some lane keeping systems. The radar cruise shows up there. And then on the right, we have our information. You can push the lane keeping button on the left stalk and change it to look like this. And when you start to go through some of your information, the screen changes. And there's really a lot you can go through. I'm kind of in the information setting right here. And this is after doing some filming and some idling, this MPGs. I actually did a highway trip and got pretty good efficiency for this type of a vehicle. But there's quite a bit of information that you can see on here. You can even customize just how much you see. And then using the steering wheel, we can decide what we see. You can see your audio, navigation, phone, any settings you want to change. You can change the type of display here. And overall, I like this display. I still kind of like a couple physical gauges with a big information display, but this works. The steering wheel is leather wrapped and heated, like I said. It is very comfortable to hold on to. You've got some more trim down here. I like having trim on the steering wheel, but not where my hands go. So this is good. I like having a full leather wrapped wheel, but you do have that trim. You've got an insert if you like to have your hand in there. And the heating element is the entire wheel, unlike some vehicles where it's just like the small portions on the side where your hands should go. We also have paddle shifters on each side. On the left side, you've got your radar cruise control, your lane centering, and then below you have radio controls for your volume. On the right side, you've got your information display for your up above screen, as well as your voice controls and to seek. And one feature that I really like on that stock, you have rain sensing windshield wipers. Those rain sensing wipers are on the Limited trim and up. And as we move across right here, you'll see that we have the portrait style large 10.1 inch screen. Most Explorers are going to have an 8 inch screen, but we have the premium tech package, so this is optional. And right away when I first saw it, and I just saw everything on there, I kind of liked having a big up and down screen, but now that I've lived with it, I prefer one that is more horizontal, that kind of runs across and stays a little more eye level. Whether or not it's integrated or tablet style, I still prefer a horizontal screen. So leave your comments down below, please. And this one is really tacked on, which is, you know, kind of interesting. And like I said, there's a little bit of play on the screen, which is a little unnerving. But other than that, I like this screen. The one thing though is Apple Carplay and Android Auto, at least as of this review, only takes up this small portion up here. So you have this 10 inch screen, but when you have Apple Carplay and Android Auto going, it's just a small section, which is kind of annoying. But it's nice to have a little bit of a split screen as well, so it doesn't take up the entire thing. I wouldn't be surprised with some software updates or something like that, even Apple CarPlay updates, where they might make it portrait style. The good thing about this is that there's a ton of features and things that you have control of through here. So you can customize all your driver assistance features on there, and I'll show you that in my driver assistance video. You can control your sound settings. Of course, we have Sirius XM on here, vehicle specific settings as well. And as you can see with that touch, it is a little slow at times, but you have so much customization with this. It's just crazy. You can make it exactly how you want. We also have ambient lighting on the Limited trim and up, and the ambient lighting is pretty cool. You've got several different colors. It really makes this interior look nice and comfortable at night, and you can change the brightness and even turn it off. You can rewind and fast forward your Sirius XM. It's easy to use. It's easy to have everything the way you want it. So there's a sources button here, but I wish there was a sources button down below or on the steering wheel. But we have a 12 speaker B&O system on the limited trim and up. Otherwise, we have the optional 980 watt 14 speaker system on our model. Now I'm just going to play a quick clip, a non-copyright song for this B&O sound system. And I do have one complaint with this sound system. It is loud. It definitely has some bass. But when you turn it up, even part way, you definitely get some vibration of the panels in here. And it's just more so than I would expect, and maybe not worth the upgrade for this system. One cool function is we have the 360 camera with a rear camera washer on the limited trim and up. So you've got a regular camera for the front and the back. You've got your 360 camera over there. And again, it's just that top little portion. It'd be nice if it was the whole screen, but you do have some customization with this as well. If I go ahead and throw it in reverse, you can see behind you with dynamic lines. The only thing I wish is you could just tap to see right on the side, like if you're next to a curb or something. And then your radar sensing, your backup and front ones will show up right here if you're getting close to something. Then as we move right below, you do have a couple of physical buttons right here. So you can turn off your parking sensors right there, use your camera right there, seeking buttons, a physical volume and tuning knob as well. Then we have dual zone up front, technically tri-zone with the back. You've got 3-tier heated and ventilated seats, your heated steering wheel button, and then those same controls over there. Everything's easy to use, very straightforward. And one feature that I've come to really like on these Fords is with the automatic function. So it's on 2. If I hit it once and use just one light, it's not going to turn the fan speed above low. But if I have it on auto 3, you maybe heard it, it'll allow the fan speed to go high and then medium. So you can customize that so you don't get in the car and it blasts you away. Then right below that, you have this little folding door you can close if you want. Otherwise, you have a nice large storage cubby with a USB regular and USB Type-C charging port and a 12-volt power outlet. It's actually a really large space. It's got a rubber lining, and there's this extra space back here where I like to stash my wallet to kind of keep everything separate. There's more practicality here. You can shove a phone in there, your key, whatever you want. You've got the rotary dial shifter with a manual function right there, a manual button. Behind that, we have the electronic parking brake. You have your brake hold, so foot on the brake, it's going to hold it for you. Auto stop start always reverts to being on, but you can easily turn it off. Traction control, your hill descent control for slow descent, and forward park assist, which I show you in the safety video. You can parallel or perpendicular park. So you go ahead and hit that, and then you have to be moving and use your signal, but you can specify what type of parking situation you're looking for. And then with our drive mode dial, that is going to show up on the screen. So you've got several different options. So let's scroll through this. We've got Eco, you've got Sport, you've got Tow Haul, and the graphics are kind of cool. There's normal, slippery, trail mode, and even your deep snow and sand. So it's going to alter your traction control when we do that. And I'll show you sport mode in a little bit when we go for a test drive. Right here we actually have a little wireless charging mat, so your phone can lean up against there, have a little storage. That's on the limited trim and up standard. And then you have this little rubber liner right here that can be moved out of the way. You've got a light right there and a 12-volt power outlet. I would like to see a USB in here as well, but that's all we get. Ford gives you a locking glove box, which is always nice to see. Soft opening, softly lined as well, and it's got a little light for nighttime. You'll find an automatic dimming mirror like we have right here, optional on the XLT, otherwise standard up from there. We have garage controls up on our visor. You've got vanity lights right here and a mirror, and the entire visor will slide. One thing that's nice, even though we have a huge panoramic roof, we still have sunglass holders. You have ambient lighting that comes down from here as well to illuminate this area down below and everything that you have down here. But we also get this twin panel moonroof, which is optional all the way down on the XLT, and then it's standard for us, and it goes back pretty far. It looks pretty cool, especially from the back seat. Now let's hop into the second row. So first of all, on the door, on the limited trim and up, you can get these sunshades, which are really nice if you have young children in the back seat. You still get some nice soft material up here on the door, same kind of stitching here, good soft armrest as well. So your passengers are treated well. You've got a good grab handle, good bottle holder with a rubber bottom, and some good storage down below. Now also in the back seat, you will get captain's chairs. You can get a bench seat for 8 passengers optional, but you still get large armrests. You can even get heated seats optional on the XLT and standard on the limited trim and up. And overall, it's a really nice, comfortable, spacious back seat area. Another interesting thing before we actually hop in is, so first of all, you can step on this area to get to the third row, but you can also step up on there in order to get easier access to your cargo rack. Standard for the second row are the AC controls back here as well. So you've got tri-zone climate control, which is always good. Every trim also gets 2 USB ports. We have a regular USB and a USB Type-C. And then we are lucky enough here to get an actual 3-prong outlet, plus an extra little storage cubby right below. And then there's a seat back pocket on both the passenger and the driver's seat. The AC vents are actually right up above, which are nice if you have a car seat, and they actually intentionally go right to your passengers. You've got nice bright lighting here and a hook. Another nice feature for your back row is the grab handle here. And sitting behind myself, I've got good foot space, good knee space. My seat is all the way back. It can recline and scoot forward. Now, if I scoot it all the way up, I can't fit. But of course, there's always a happy middle if you want to give your third row a little bit more space. And if you don't opt for the bench seat, you'll get this center console that is low to the ground. It's got a nice rubber lining in here, some storage cubbies and drink holders, and it's low enough to where you can step over and have easy access into the third row. And really, I'm pretty comfortable here. I don't have a ton of headroom, but I have enough, and you probably won't have taller people in the back all that often. And these seats can recline, and overall, they're pretty comfortable, especially with the big armrests. The third row is only a 2-passenger setup, but let's go ahead and hop back there and check it out. Getting into the third row is fairly easy. You can just push this button right there. The seat moves out of the way, and for children, might be a little bit of work to move that seat, but it's really not bad, and it gives you a pretty large opening. Now that I'm back here, I've got this seat scooted forward, and as you can see, I've got really good knee space. The seat is fairly low to the floor to where there's quite a bit of space under my leg. And over there, that seat is all the way back, and I can't quite fit here without my knees touching, but you can find a middle ground and still fit taller passengers back here. As for the amenities, you've got a little storage cubby and a drink holder on each side. They each also get their own AC vents, and you've got some nice lighting right up above. The most impressive thing with these seats, though, is the headroom. So usually in third rows, height-wise is a big factor because of the sloping roof lines, but because of the body shape of the Explorer and the low position of the seat, you've got good headroom back here. My only complaint is that there's no charging ports for the third row. Getting out of here is just as easy. You can press that button up there, or you can pull this little tab right down here, and then the seat's going to move out of the way, and you can go ahead and move it. One big change with the powertrain of the 2020 Explorer is that it's now a rear-wheel drive based vehicle instead of front-wheel drive, but it still gives you all-wheel drive, or intelligent four-wheel drive as they call it. There's pros and cons to that. One, it drives really nice. But if you live in an icy, slippery climate, or you deal with slippery conditions a lot, just rear-wheel drive does not do as well as front-wheel drive in those conditions. So definitely go for this intelligent four-wheel drive system. This is a $60,000 vehicle, and it still gives you a prop rod. Not what I was expecting, but I'll take that considering how much power we have under the hood. They actually give you 4 different engine options, and there's only one complaint that I have with the lineup here. So the base engine is going to be a 2.3 liter turbocharged EcoBoost 4-cylinder engine on the base, XLT, and limited, but it's going to give you quite a bit of power for that size of an engine. 300 horsepower, 310 pound-feet of torque, and it can tow 5,300 pounds. That's definitely the most efficient engine, with 21 miles per gallon city, 28 highway, and still 27 miles per gallon when you have the 4-wheel drive. Another option is a hybrid, naturally aspirated 3.3 liter V6, where you can still tow 5,000 pounds, and miles per gallon is going to be up to 27 city, 29 highway with the rear-wheel drive model. Ford did not make that hybrid as a super efficient model. They made it as something with some decent horsepower and torque, over 300 horsepower and 300 pound-feet of torque, and the capability of towing, but you still get a little bump in city efficiency. And then under the hood here, specific to this Platinum model, is the 3-liter V6 twin turbocharged engine that's going to put out a really impressive 365 horsepower, 380 pound-feet of torque that comes out really early. These are going to be paired with a 10-speed automatic transmission. The 4-wheel drive is standard on this trim. There's no rear-wheel drive with this option, so you'll get 18 miles per gallon city, 24 miles per gallon highway, and on a highway trip, even going through a couple little towns, I got better than the highway numbers. Another impressive factor with this Explorer is that it can tow more than anything else in its class. This has 5,600 pounds towing capacity with this engine, and the tow package is standard. Trailer connections, engine oil cooler, trailer sway control, tow haul mode are all standard. And if you've ever driven on a really windy day, especially on like wide open places like South Dakota where I grew up, I-90, any of you out there? If it's really windy and it's going to blow you around, this actually has side wind stabilization to help you stay centered in your lane. And then finally, there's the 4th option, which is the ST, the performance-oriented Explorer with more horsepower and 415 pound-feet of torque. Hopefully we can get that for a test drive sometime, and the hybrid. And like I said, the one thing I don't like is that you can't get just a straight shoot, naturally aspirated engine. You can with the hybrid system, but not just a simple naturally aspirated V6. You probably won't miss it though, because these engines are efficient and powerful. All right, everyone, we are on the test drive in this 2020 Explorer. So right off the bat with the visibility, of course with the crossovers, SUVs, you don't get the best, but it's really not bad. That farthest rear window isn't too high, and the C-pillar window is actually pretty decent with the second row out of the way. Now I'm gonna tell you the driving impressions here, ride comfort, handling, and we'll put it in sport mode. I'll tell you what it's like to daily drive with this. This powertrain feels smooth. The suspension feels smooth. My one complaint though is I'm not sure if it's just specific to these 21-inch wheels, but there's definitely some harshness when you go over some bumps. You really get a kind of like a hard impact on some of these bumps. And I think that a lot of that has to do with the small tires on here. But let's go ahead and get on it right off the bat. And this is a beast. I mean, that wasn't floored either. And you don't have to floor it with this twin turbo V6. It just goes. And it's just fun to drive. It's so easy to drive. It's effortless. And in city driving, really just a little bit of throttle and it picks up speed really fast. So the steering on here is kind of a neutral, it's kind of a medium, but it's got a decent amount of feedback to it. It's not super light with its play, but it's not a heavy wheel either that's gonna make you labor to turn the wheel. Like parking situations, it's still easy to park this thing. And just going around some of these gentle corners right here, it's easy to keep straight in its lane. It's easy to know exactly where you're going with it. Now going 35, if I just get into it a little, took a second for the transmission to want to shift, downshift, but then this, like I said, it's just so smooth, it gets you going so quickly. Just for an example, the auto stop start system is engaged right now, no RPMs, I'm not going to accelerate, just going to let off the brake. It was fairly quick, there's a little bit of a lurch forward with it, but you can always turn that off. Now let's go ahead and put it in sport mode. Have a little bit more fun here. Give some people some space in front of us. And if I just go ahead and get on it, it totally changes your gauge cluster in front of you, by the way. Go ahead and get on it. So quickly gets you up to speed, and it holds the RPMs here. It's still really holding the RPMs. Pedal down. Listen to the sound of that. Let's see how we corner. And this platform handles so well. This is definitely one of the best, if not the best, driving 3 rows in the class. Just fun. Lots of fun. Didn't really expect that. You know, it's one thing to have a lot of power, but it's another to handle well. And that is just spot on. Now, this vehicle is not going to be driven like that, but I'm gonna go ahead and put it in manual mode. It's in 3rd gear. And it did not give me my shifts right away when I wanted them. But you can still at least manually shift, manipulate the shifts. They're not too bad. The downshifts weren't too bad, but I personally just won't even use those. One thing is that the drive mode selector thing is a little bit kind of weird the way that it turns, but it's still a fun vehicle. Now, this little stretch, let me go ahead and show you. So I'll have a cruise control demonstration in another video. The adaptive cruise control, the intelligent cruise control, the lane keeping system, all that stuff. But I have it with the lane centering system set up right now in the cruise. So if I go ahead and kind of move over, it's going to grab it for me and it's going to keep me centered, even with that little opening in the lane. It's telling me to hold on, telling me there's no lanes, and it picked up the lanes again and it centered you. So if you want to see a full demonstration of this and the lane keeping system and everything else, the safety features that come with this, be sure to check in the link below because I got a full video on it. Now we're getting on the rougher surface road that gives us some road noise. So if you are a road noise buff like me and you like a quiet ride, this is still pretty quiet. The decibel ratings that I got on the interstate and on a rougher surface road were both good. I really have no complaints with it. You've got laminated front side windows here as well. The hybrid even has, I believe, active noise control too. But you can probably hear some of the noise getting in here. There is some. It's got wide tires, and that's part of it, but it's still a quiet vehicle. You're probably not going to have any complaints with it. Wind noise is well kept. Road noise is well contained. And then when it comes to just daily driving this, it's really easy. It is a bigger vehicle. It's about 200 inches long almost, so it is a pretty good size, a little bit bigger than some of the competitors in the class. But it's still easy to maneuver, especially with that 360 view camera. And then just for fun, I'm gonna throw it in sport mode again, and let's go ahead and go. And it just goes. After that transmission kicks down, you get that boost. So no playing around with that. I'm gonna hustle a little bit more up here, and I just do this because this has that upgraded engine. I think a lot of you, if you're gonna go for the Platinum, you're gonna like the fact that it has this power. If you really want a race vehicle, go for the ST. That's the performance oriented version, but you will be very happy with this, and I think you'll be very happy even with that 2.3 liter base engine. Over 300 pound-feet of torque is a big deal. The only other one I can think of with over 300 pound-feet of torque, the actual push, the boost, is the Mazda CX-9, but it has a lot less horsepower. Now, overall, with the driving dynamics of this 2020 Explorer, it is a nice drive. I've enjoyed driving it. It's definitely rougher than expected with these 21-inch wheels. Otherwise, I think everything feels pretty smooth. So I would definitely pass up these 21-inch wheels. There's a lot more wheel than you need. It's definitely flashy, but I would pass on those. The XLT trim is really well equipped, and it's expensive too. And another thing is, I don't know if I would pay the upgrade for this larger screen. I haven't really been a fan of how this larger screen works. That's totally up to you. And then with that, the upgraded B&O sound system, it's definitely loud, but it's almost too much for this cabin. It's like, and I never thought I would say that. I'm not an audiophile by any means. I'm not good at dissecting audio systems, but there's a lot of vibration in here with that. I don't notice that when I'm just driving, but things start to vibrate when you turn it up. But like I said, overall, I definitely have enjoyed it. This power plant is great, it's fun, and there's a lot of features in here. So to wrap things up on the 2020 Ford Explorer Platinum trim, this Platinum trim and its price are both like luxury vehicles. I mean, this is like a luxury vehicle with a Ford badge. Obviously, some of the niceties of the interior are not quite the high-end luxury standard, but it is still a very nice vehicle, and the fact that you get this engine under the hood in this model really sets it apart. And I'm gonna go ahead and say with this new platform that the 2020 Explorer is the best driving three-row vehicle in its class. Now recently there's been some new competitors that come out like the 2020 Highlander, the Kia Telluride, Hyundai Palisade. Those don't get up to this same price level, but they don't offer this same power or this same kind of platform and driving dynamics. So what do you think of this $60,000 Platinum Explorer? I hope you learned some things about this and the other trims. Be sure to watch some of these other videos and a night video and safety demo that I have with this Explorer as well. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day.